NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham. He is Chase Sr. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at HGrahamNFL. I do a lot of NBA stuff there as well. At Chase_Senior. If you miss your question, we'll answer them over there if you message us. Ryan Matt, no relation to Matt Ryan. Myles Turner to Dallas. Local kid, grew up in the DFW Metroplex. I think he would, be open to that. But what can the Mavs offer, right? Maxi Kleba and a first-round pick in 2025 because they can't trade one until then. That's probably not going to get it done. You'd probably have to throw Jalen Brunson in a trade, and I don't think Dallas is doing that with the way he's played this year.
No, because if you watch the Mavericks down the stretch, other than Luka Doncic, who's been the Mavericks' go-to guy?
Jalen's their other playmaker.
It's been Jalen Brunson down the stretch, which doesn't surprise me at all. Won a couple of national championships at Villanova. The fact that he went as late as he did in the NBA draft was just insane to me.
The Luka Jalen Brunson draft, one of the greatest two-player drafts of all time.
Because those are your two best players and your two clutch performers going down the stretch. And the other predicament with Dallas, they don't really have a lot of assets to give up for a player like Myles Turner, which is a problem.
Yep. Ash Quaresma, Buddy Hield to the Mavs for Pal, Tim, and some picks. This is probably more, at least realistic, only because Sacramento has a bunch of these second, third tier type of guys that cost too much. So I think they'd be open to moving them. Dwight Powell doesn't have much trade value. He has not looked the same after the Achilles tear. I think Hardaway, who's played really well this year and is a free agent after this year, is kind of a match there for Buddy Hield. But is Buddy Hield an upgrade from Tim Hardaway at this point? You have him long term, but for this year, producer Sam, who's an OU alum, says yes, but what do you think, Chase?
So Tim Hardaway is a straight-up gunner, and he's somewhat inconsistent.
Yes.
Buddy Hield, a little bit more consistent. But hold on, I'm looking at the highway right now, and I'm seeing Daryl Morey on the highway. There's a highway chase. It's a robbery because he traded Josh Richardson for Seth Curry.
That's bad.
That's a bad trade in hindsight
well.
when you look at it, because Josh Richardson has been abysmal for the Mavericks, doesn't fill a need at all, has been bad alongside Luka Doncic. And on the other side of that, Seth Curry has been terrific for the Sixers, both from a fit standpoint, and he's the son-in-law of Doc Rivers, so there's some familiarity there as well.
Another Chase, I think this is Chase Sr.'s burner accounts on today's show. Who's most likely to get traded now that Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine aren't likely to be traded? Number one, I agree. I don't think either of those guys get moved. The Bulls would be crazy to move LaVine, and the Wizards are playing better. Give us a couple of names real quick. Who do you think gets moved?
So the big one for me is Vucevic out of Orlando. And last year, the Magic were a playoff team. Heading into this season, I was excited about the prospects for Orlando, but they have had to deal with a litany of injuries all across the board. They're one of the worst teams in the NBA. So as you kind of reconfigure and reset if you're Orlando, what are the pluses? What are the advantages of holding on to Vucevic, who is already in his 30s by now? Trade him, get some great assets back. That's the number one name I'm looking at.
Name a player that will get traded at the NBA trade deadline. I think Nikola Vucevic is a guy. I think Andre Drummond gets dealt. Keep an eye on Kyle Lowry as well. Get your votes in. Name a player that you think could get traded before the deadline. Miles per hour, could the Mavs trade for Pascal Siakam? I think Toronto could be a seller. I don't think they're going to sell their young pieces, though.
I don't think so either. And Toronto the last few years, with Masai Ujiri, Nick Nurse, they have been a player development machine. Look at the players that they've been able to groom. And I think when you're an organization, you take a lot of pride in grooming and developing some of your homegrown talent. And Pascal Siakam, there was a stretch there 2 years ago when he was playing alongside Kawhi, and a little bit last year before the bubble in which he really struggled, where you were looking at Pascal Siakam as a top 30 player potentially. Now, did he hit his ceiling already? Potentially. But Pascal Siakam is a player that the Toronto Raptors targeted in Cameroon. He has gotten just incrementally better over time, and I think he's a valuable player to hold on to, so I do not think that Toronto is going to part ways with one of their homegrown studs.
Ezra Valdez, Desmond Bane for Wes Iwundu and Dwight Powell. The Grizzlies say no because Desmond Bane, shout out TCU, my alma mater, is like top 10 in the NBA in three-point shooting. They're not parting ways with the rookie three-point shooter of his caliber. Who is your favorite draft prospect? The name everyone knows is Cade Cunningham, and being a Big 12 guy, I've really come to love his game. He's big, he's long, he can shoot, he's dynamic. Get your votes in. Favorite draft prospect for 2021. Dongai Zhang, what is the trade going to look like if the Rockets trade Victor Oladipo, PJ Tucker, and Eric Gordon together? First of all, I think that's very unlikely. I don't think you can trade all of them together just financially. You're going to have to find a unique partner. Maybe a three-way trade is possible. How about this? Out of those three, who do you think's most likely to get dealt?
Victor Oladipo, because he turned down a long-term
Yes.
extension with the Houston Rockets. And Harrison, you do make a good point there. Maybe Houston, they just decide to go with a full-on rebuild, and they do trade all three of those players, but it would have to be a 3-4 team combined trade.
Which we've seen one this year involving the Rockets already, so who knows? Do you own any green clothes? I'll tell you what, why for yes and for no, my green department is pretty light. I don't have a lot of green clothes, but the reason we ask is you got to have something green, otherwise you're going to get pinched on St. Patrick's Day, and I'm not a pinch guy. I don't like getting pinched, so get some gear. Chatsports.com/NBA Green. Got all kinds of stuff available for all 30 NBA teams. We got hats, we got shirts, we got socks. There's some other stuff available as well. Celebrating St. Patty's Day by repping your team, and some of the stuff is actually on sale at that link. So go to chatsports.com/NBA Green. We'll put that link in the comments. It'll be in the description. All you got to do is click and shop today. Don't get pinched on St. Patrick's Day. Next up is Jerry Maverick, #NBA. The Mavs need to trade for Victor Oladipo. What would you give up to make it happen? I go back and forth on Oladipo. He hasn't been as efficient. He's playing a little bit better as of late. Part of me thinks that's because the Rockets are just a weird roster right now, and they're in a mess. They've lost a bunch of games in a row. I wonder if the Mavs need a big or another creator. 2 months ago, I would have said another creator, but with the emergence and next step of Jalen Brunson, I'm not saying Brunson's as good as peak Oladipo, but I think there's other areas you can attack if you are the Mavericks trying to make a trade here.
I agree. I think they need a shooter. I think a creator could serve them well, but Luka Doncic, he's going to be your main creator down the stretch. Jalen Brunson has emerged into that role. It'd be great if they still had Seth Curry, but they traded Seth Curry for Josh Richardson.
They thought Josh Richardson's efficiency would go up playing with Luka, and that has not happened. The defense is better than Curry's, obviously, but he has not shot the ball well from the outside. So will the Rockets trade Oladipo? This I think they will. Type T for trade, type K for nah, they'll keep him. I think they'll trade him. I just don't think it'll be to the Dallas Mavericks. I think they'll look elsewhere for trades. Sneaky trade idea for Dallas, a buy low trade. How about JJ Redick? Get some shooting on that offense. Subscribe to Chat Sports, because the only way you can be a part of our mailbags is if A, you sub, and B, join us live every single Friday on YouTube. We go live with NBA Now with the latest news, rumors, and of course our famous live mailbags as well. So turn on those notifications after you subscribe, and the link is right there. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv.